100 years ago, 3 parties of adventurers and a small sailing crew were sent from the great kingdom of Seasith to a large island on a mission. They were tasked with clearing the island of monsters and reporting back anything of value. But after 3 grueling years on the island, the remaining adventurers realized the crown of Seasith had abandoned them. A phoenix living within the volcano on the island's southeast coast aided the adventurers, and they returned to Seasith to start a rebellion among the exploited folks of Seasith. The rebellion was fierce and bloody. The war on the southern coast saw that the rebels constantly lost land mere months after gaining it. This back and forth lasted 15 years before the final stand was made at the Beach of Daggers. The battle was hard fought, but the rebels ultimately lost. Those who survived and avoided capture fled into the shadows of the fishing towns and sailing crews. But they didn't give up. A secret community of rebels hatched a plot to steal the country's naval ships and return back to the island once more. The plan was successful, with no ships lost and less than a dozen deaths in total. A community of nearly 2,500 people of all kinds sailed back to the island. With a stronger resolve and unwavering leadership, the northern coastline was cleared, and later the city of Perch was built. Inspired by the phoenix that saved them, the remaining adventurers named the island Ashland. 75 years later, only 1/3 of this roughly 1 million square mile island has been settled by humanoids. In the past 2 decades, however, the focus has once again shifted to making Ashland a safe place for all the folks living within it. And so, the demand for adventurers is as present as it ever has been, perhaps even more so. This year, 100 years since the first parties landed on Ashland's shores, is a year of celebration. As such, the Pearl-Yield Academy of Adventuring has opened its admissions to the public for the first time. Now, let's meet our adventurers. Zep Wyndham is an Air Genasi fighter who was born into an important adventuring family, with her great-grandmother being one of the first adventurers to journey into Pearl-Yield. She is determined to uphold a legacy carried by those who came before her. With her late father's sword in her hand and determination in her heart, she ventures to Pearl-Yield to fulfill her destiny and become one of the best adventurers of her time. Cor Lapis is a dreamer. He's a Triton bard from a ruined city at the bottom of the ocean. A kind and quiet person, Cor has received a message from beyond to journey to Pearl-Yield to start his own adventure. Perster Moongrove is a halfling paladin from a humble seaside town who has just left home to find himself. After speaking to a woman in a tavern named Brandy Twinbirch, she urges him to enter the exams for himself. So, he changes course. Loyalty of Wrath, known to the wider world as Loyalty the Tiefling Wizard, is a sheltered but loved daughter of the runaway heir of a noble Seasith family and the infernal Archdevil of Wrath that her mother summoned and bargained her soul for. Charged with ambition to learn as much as she can about the world around her before she returns to hell when she dies, her extremely sheltered upbringing from living in a haunted mansion and questionable morals that come from being a devil contribute to her lack of social skills and tact in her first schooling environment. Our adventurers-to-be find themselves in the Grand Library at Nightstoop, where they sign themselves up for the preliminary assignment. They end up grouped together and decide on their guide, a goblin ranger named Wexney, who is accompanied by a collection of rats. After some convincing from Cor, the group decide on one of the more challenging quests offered. They travel to a small farmstead outside of Nightstoop, where the livestock have been disappearing as of late, and suspect an owlbear as a culprit. Our party waits until nightfall and is surprised by their quarry, a displacer beast, proves themselves and defeats the monster, not before Cor almost dies though. Returning to the Grand Library triumphant, they sign up for another quest, led by the dragonborn sorcerer Faradin, to another farm with cows that have been recently petrified. With Faradin's assistance, the party makes quick work of the cockatrice nest and pass their preliminary test with flying colors, securing their chance at the entrance exams. As our new little party continues into the entrance exams, we are introduced to another hopeful. Callista Arcangela is an inquisitive Aasimar from an extremely influential paladin order. Growing up with high unmet expectations has left her aloof and untrusting. She is in search of answers about her missing older sister and the school's involvement. While she says she's a wizard, she appears to be hiding a secret. Everyone passes their entrance exams. However, they might have made a few enemies in the process. As they move on to the next step, these 5 adventurers are randomly assigned to a party together. We find out that Zep and Callista grew up together and have been rivals since they were small children. Our party seems to be already complicated. The party stays at Zep's mother's house on the beach before leaving in the morning. Loyalty's father shows up and startles Zep's poor mother, and a little bit of our party. He gifts Loyalty with a spellbook that appears to have a demon trapped inside. After a night of strange dreams, our new party teleports to Pearlyield Academy of Adventuring. However, we're still missing one party member. Galrog is a paladin bugbear who has been spending the last few years as a camp counselor for the summer camp run by the school. Finally, after being on the waitlist for a while, Galrog is now off to attend Pearlyield Academy, seeking glory and to start the first ever fraternity on campus. Now, all together, our strange party starts their first year at Pearlyield Academy of Adventuring, not knowing entirely what's in store for them.